article is to fund the Sewer Enterprise Fund for fiscal year 2017. And as was noted relative to the budget, we again had a very in-depth presentation both for Article 5 and for Article 6 relative to the two enterprise funds for sewer and water. And so given that, is there any discussion relative to the Sewer Enterprise Fund before we ask for a motion? Okay, hearing none.
Make a motion to recommend adoption of Article 5.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend adoption of Article 5. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 6, as I mentioned, this is the Water Enterprise Fund, and similarly was presented in detail by the town manager several weeks ago. So I'll look for a motion relative to Article 6.
Motion to recommend adoption of Article 6 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor of recommending adoption of Article 6, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 7. Okay, this article transfers funds available from bond proceeds to reduce the amount of exempt debt service principal. So, Mr. Montori, can you just explain quickly where the
briefly,
resources are coming?
We have bond proceeds that we have received from previous bond issues, and in order to use those bond proceeds, you need to have town meeting appropriate the money for its use to reduce existing debt. So since most of these bond proceeds are for exempt debt for the school and other exempt debt, we're asking town meeting to utilize the $40,760.36 to reduce town exempt debt principal. We'll have a similar article on town meeting for the next several years, probably much longer because of the size of the bond proceeds. But this is asking town meeting to do what Department of Revenue is recommend that we do with the bond proceeds.
Any questions or discussion? All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion relative to Article 7.
Recommend adoption of Article 7, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
And we have a second, so we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 7. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 8. This article requests town meeting to approve funds that were reimbursed to the town for the above purpose to be reallocated to the town's transportation projects. So again, Mr. Montori.
And before I go into this article, just so the board knows, we're back live on cable television and we have sound. So the technician came out and fixed everything.
Excellent.
Article 8 became brought forward by DPW to me because we had two grant programs that we applied for to make repairs to Stormwater Brook and River Road stormwater. They fronted the money with Chapter 90 money to do the work until the grant money came in. The grant money has come in, and we want to reallocate it from the two accounts that it went into back into transportation projects that Chapter 90 would have paid for.
Any questions or discussion relative to Article 8?
I'll make a motion to adopt Article 8.
We have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 8. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 8. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair will vote aye as well. Article 9. This article allows the town to utilize funds considered surplus from assessor's overlay reserve to fund a senior tax relief program, veterans tax relief program that allows eligible senior citizens or veterans of the town to work for town and school offices and receive a reduction in the property tax bill. And this is always quite a very popular program.
Yes,
Anything to add to the description there, Mr. Montori?
No, we are just happy to have the funds still available to continue the program, and I know the seniors are excited to work come July.
Can I just ask about how many seniors or veterans at this service is total overall? It's really grown. So
It's about
pretty
25 a
exciting.
year. We had some extra money put in this past year to do another 10 because they get $1,000. It's mostly seniors, not a lot of veterans, maybe one or two veterans, but so since it started, I think we're on our third year maybe. This will be our fourth, I think. We've done it about 25 a year on average, so it's definitely over 100.
Wow, that's great.
When you add in some of them that don't work the full $1,000, they maybe do 500, and another one does 500, so it's been very popular.
That's great.
I'll gladly offer a motion, Mr. Chairman, to recommend adoption of Article 9.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 9. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye as well. Article 10. This article authorizes the Town of Tewksbury Health Department Board of Health to amend an existing self-sufficient fund to account for fiscal year 2017 revenues and expenditures relating to vaccines and medical-related reimbursements that the Tewksbury Health Department Board of Health receives. Any,
It's self-explanatory. You
Yeah.
just change the use of the fund.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend adoption of Article 10.
we have a motion to recommend adoption. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 10. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 11. This article authorizes the town to continue a self-sufficient revolving fund to account for the revenues and expenditures of maintaining a GIS program in the town of Tewksbury for FY17 with an increase to its funding authorization from $25,000 to $50,000. Any discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion to adopt Article 11.
We have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 11. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 11. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 12. This article authorizes the town to continue a self-sufficient revolving fund to account for the revenues and expenditures of activities run by the Tewksbury Council on Aging for FY17 with an increase to its funding authorization from $50,000 to $150,000.
Just, Mr. Chairman, through you to the town manager, does the Council on Aging revolving fund actually have those funds available? Are they trying to expend more than $50,000 and are hamstrung by the
Yeah,
current limit?
we actually approved, this committee approved an increase in their threshold this year because they did exceed it. They gave them a threshold, I think, of $100,000 because of the amount of activities that have increased there, as well as the revenue stream and the gift shop. The need to increase the threshold was important. So we got through this year, but you can do it on a temporary basis 1 year, but you have to go to town meeting to increase it. That's what this is doing.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Discussion?
I'll offer a motion to recommend adoption, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 12. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 13. This article authorizes the town to create an enterprise fund to account for the revenues and expenditures of all operations and activities for cable access television. This, of course, is, we just voted to create a cable committee to go down this road, and this would take care of those funds from the Verizon and Comcast accounts. Is that correct? Okay.
And just to further add to that,
Please,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman, if
Johnson.
I may, through you to the town manager, when you built the general fund budget, you did not include the cable-related revenue in the budget, as has been the case in the past. Is that
No,
correct?
I took the revenue out with the exception of some money for the cost of what we're currently doing.
Right.
For the most part, it's all out of it.
So we now have a contract, actually 2 contracts. We have cable-related revenue, and we do not have a placeholder except for this potential article. So it would make imminent sense, especially if we want to pursue a committee, that we need to have this article pass. So therefore, I'll offer a motion to recommend adoption.
All right, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 13. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair will vote aye as well. All right, Article 14. This article amends Addendum D of the personal bylaw by deleting the positions no longer needed, adding new positions, and also increasing hourly wages recommended by Municipal Resources, Inc. So this is just some
So
cleanup.
it's adding the positions in the library for the Sunday hours. It's adding a van driver in the Council on Aging, a senior center, because a van was kindly donated to us by the LRTA. And it increases the wages of all of the employees that are in this schedule to anticipate the change in the minimum wage, so to get ahead of it. And we deleted 3 positions that are no longer being used: a junior counselor, what is known as a rider, and a transportation escort, both of which I have no idea what they would do.
All right, any further discussion or questions for the town manager on this article? All right,
I do have just a question, I
please,
guess.
Mrs. Strona.
So later on, there's an article that talks about secret ballot. Because we're not using names, this would not be relative to that. I just want to be,
We're not sure about that. That's a good
Okay.
question. We're meeting tomorrow with town council, the moderator, myself, and the chairman, and this will be one of the discussions. I'm not sure.
okay.
Yeah, the easy answer is
So-
I'm not sure.
So I'm not opposed to recommending adoption, but I would like clarification relative to the town manager, just letting us know. I'm sure we're going to do that at town meeting
Yeah, I
anyway.
suspect in the floor town meeting, the moderator will,
Yep.
will let us know how we have to
Yep.
proceed, so.
So I'll recommend adoption.
We have a motion to
of
recommend
Article.
adoption. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 14. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 15. This article amends addendums of the personal bylaw to add new job titles and classifications.
So the positions that are in here are positions that we needed to add because of a couple of reasons. One, just to prepare for the future. Going through the budget process with the Finance Committee, there was discussions about possibly needing a full-time local building inspector instead of the current 20-hour-a-week one that we have. So in anticipation of that possibly happening in the fall, if depending how things go, I added the position in. There's also been discussion about the potential of needing a town planner in the future. So again, being proactive, added that position into both grade 7 and grade 8. Depending on the person's qualification, will depend on what grade they get hired at. Facilities manager, which is in the budget, is being proposed at grade 10 with other like positions. Assistant town manager is something we've talked about as a group for many years, and hopefully in the fall it's something we can address. And again, being proactive, putting the position in the wage and classification. Under Addendum B, an activities coordinator, which we will have funded through a state grant come July at the senior center, and a community outreach coordinator, which is funded in the budget for July 1. Both positions need to be brought in on the scale as full-time. And then finally, under Addendum C, just updating the local building inspector's hourly wage for the 20-hour-a-week person.
Mr. Montori, I know when we redid the personal bylaw section wage schedule, this was done in detail with a consultant, and so how were these wage levels and step levels sort of pulled from that work?
Yeah, we went back over what was done in the past, and like positions in, for instance, the facilities manager, that's where the assistant superintendent of public works is. We fit them in there where the planner would have been, so we matched them up accordingly.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion relative to this?
So I just,
Mrs. Strauss?
I'm sorry, I just want to be clear that currently, if I have this right, the only positions that are budgeted in this year's budget is the facilities manager and the community outreach. The other two, then you have the grants, that is the activity, and then you're updating the other one, so that's in the budget. But the other positions are just prepping in the event that we are able to budget them in the
Correct.
future?
Correct. The full-time local building inspector, the planner, and the assistant town manager are future possibilities.
Of this fiscal year, though,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And where would that funding come if we have a balanced budget in that, like, how do we
If in October,
anticipate?
additional revenue is available through state aid or new growth, and we
Okay.
choose to reopen the budgets and fund them, they could come from there.
Okay, Thank you very much.
Any further conversation, discussion?
You know, Mr. Chairman, just one comment, just to follow on that. In the event that resources weren't available in the fall, these positions would still be maintained on the roster for a
Correct.
subsequent
Yep.
year. So,
Yes.
as you stated, and I would certainly endorse, this is anticipatory and is forward-thinking with respect to what we're trying to accomplish. Okay. Thank you.
Good point, thank you.
So I'll make a motion to recommend adoption of the article.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 15. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. It's unanimous. So Article 16. This article amends the personal bylaw to maintain the current job titles and classifications and also replaces the remaining bylaw with the language within the article to reflect updates that are consistent with the town charter and more flexible for administration and oversight. So, Mr. Montori, if you want to
Thank you,
take us
Mr.
through that.
Chairman. Just for so the board knows and the residents know, I'm finalizing the handout for town meeting, which will have, in some cases, a more detailed explanation on certain articles that need it. This is one of them. I'm not sure everyone knows, but in the executive summary for the warrant articles, you're limited to 100 words. And you'd be surprised how fast 100 words can be taken up when you start writing an executive summary. So that's why this doesn't have more in-depth information. This is something that we worked on, myself and Teresa Belanger, the Human Resource Director with Labor Council, in reviewing the town personnel bylaw, which if any of you who I know have had a chance to look at, is well outdated. The thought was to create more of an employee handbook when personnel bylaw employees are hired, something that we can give them that has all of the information that would be related to their benefits in it. When looking at this, we came to the conclusion that in order to streamline changes to a personnel bylaw and to adapt as times change more quickly, that we're asking town meeting to allow the bylaw to be changed and approval of those future changes, amendments, and development of the bylaw to the Board of Selectmen. The proposed personnel bylaw doesn't contain any material or substantive changes to the existing responsibilities for the manager, the selectmen, or even town meeting. It reconciles the bylaw with the charter that was adopted in 1986 that created the town manager form of government. And when that happened, it really took away a lot of the responsibilities of the previous personnel review board and other responsibilities. So it seeks to create more transparency and expressly setting the responsibilities of the manager that currently exist within the bylaws and the charter. And it states that we still will go to town meeting for approval and changes to the wage and classification scale. So any changes to salaries, any additional personnel that we want to add, any major financial issues dealing with salaries would go to, still go to town meeting for approval. But all other benefits would remain and adopted and amended by the Board of Selectmen. Currently, we have approximately 49 employees who are affected by this. That's a combination of full-time and part-time. And again, this is just an effort to streamline the process in updating these. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Montori. Any questions relative to this?
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 16 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 16. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 16. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 17. According to Chapter 105 of the Acts of 2003, the Tewksbury Affordable Housing Trust Fund is to have an allocation submitted to and approved at the annual town meeting. The fiscal year 2017 allocation plan meets the expenditure requirements of the special act.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion to recommend adoption of Article 17 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 17. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 18. Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44B, requires that the town appropriate for spending or reserve for future spending from the fund balance at least 10% for open space, 10% for historic preservation, and 10% for community housing. FY 2017 historic 10% reserve will be achieved with the town hall rehabilitation bond payment. The total CPA estimated FY 16 revenue is $878,515.51.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion to recommend adoption of Article 18 as presented by the Community Preservation Committee.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 18 as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 19, the CPC seeks approval for CPC funds as submitted by the town conservation agent to complete 3 wetland boardwalks on town-owned open space to provide connection of 7 miles of walkable trails on the Bay Circuit Trail, running north to south in the town, connecting the trail with Andover and Billerica's existing trail. The funds will also provide for 2 kiosks along the trail with information about the trail's location and history. Volunteers, such as scouts and trail users, will construct the boardwalks. Creation of this recreational use is sought in the Tewksbury Master Plan and Open Space Plan.
Mr. Chairman, if I just may,
Yep.
this is a terrific article, and I'd recommend the board approve it. Today, in talking to the finance director, we're not sure if there is enough in the open space reserve to fund this. There is money in the Community Preservation Fund undesignated fund balance. So until I have a chance to talk to the chairman of the CPC, I'd ask the board just to defer this or table this till Monday, right before the meeting.
I'll offer that motion. Table the article.
Till, we have the office at 6:30.
Yeah.
Well, we have the meetings at 8, right? So we meet at 7:30?
You may want to wait to determine the time until you know how many articles.
Yeah,
there
let's
are,
wait on
Mr. Chairman.
that. Okay, so we'll table, we have a motion to table Article 19, thank you. I have a
I'll
motion.
make a second.
We have a second, so I have a motion to table Article 19. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, Article 20. The CPC seeks approval for CPC funds as submitted by the town conservation agent to restore Long Pond's water quality in order that it be used for recreational purposes. A recent water quality report revealed the pond is not suitable for recreational activities such as boating due to the bacterial levels. These funds will be used to chemically treat the pond to correct nutrient and algae levels for aquatic plant management and investigate remedies for the long-term health of the pond. Long Pond is a designated great pond in Massachusetts and a recreational asset for residents.
Again, Mr. Chairman, this, because it's taken out of the open space reserve, I'd ask the board just to table it till Monday. I highly recommend the article. It's a terrific project. I just want to make sure I just want to consult with the CPC chair.
I'll offer a motion, Mr. Chairman, to table the article for further discussion on Monday, May 2nd.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion to table Article 20 until May 2nd. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Okay. Now, let's check here. I'm missing.
Article 32.
32.
Yeah, we're jumping to 32. Yeah, thank you. I copied mine onto double-sided, and now I can't find anything. Here we go. All right, Article 32, we got it. Thank you. Just take me a moment. I'm new to this. All right.
You're doing great.
The purpose of this article is to delete the time in which town meeting starts on the first Monday in May and subsequent meetings to allow the Board of Selectmen to choose the time.
I love this article.
I don't need to say anything.
It really delayed, the town meeting when we have to stop and start and all of those things. So I recommend adoption of Article 32.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption of Article 32. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Article 33. Purpose of this article is to delete the need for a secret ballot for personnel bylaw changes at town meeting.
So this one I'm not so crazy about.
Okay?
And I am not going to support this article. I think that it's very difficult at town meeting we want people to participate, and then we're going to have them, ask them to stand up against maybe their neighbor and review their point of view. So I think that there are ways to streamline the secret ballot, so I personally am not going to support this article.
Mr. Stronach, any other discussion relative to this?
Just through you, Mr. Chairman, to the town manager, I may be wrong on this, but my understanding is that this changes the requirement from a shall have a secret ballot to a may have. Town meeting members could actually make a motion to have a secret ballot if they so deemed it appropriate.
That's always an option.
So,
It doesn't change, it doesn't, the whole
It's-
thing gets deleted here.
Yeah.
So I didn't change, it's always an option, but this whole section is completely deleted.
if there were a personnel bylaw article and someone had some discomfort about it, they could actually ask for secret ballot, and the moderator would make a determination, and that would be an option.
I think that's correct. Is that right, Jerry? Is that correct?
That's what I thought as well.
Related to that, that would just, I mean, we're trying to, residents sometimes don't know that they have the ability to do that, and again, is trying to communicate to them, and would that be something that this board would make a decision, or would it be any member of town meeting? I guess it could be any member.
We've had,
Yep,
I've been part of discussions on the board where they've talked about the possibility of a secret ballot instead of,
and
so it's both.
the last secret ballot we had, it was at the end of the evening, correct? So it
was.
wasn't a big deal, correct?
No, it was the end of the meeting, and people did it as they went out, and the moderator announced
Okay.
the results.
Any further discussion? Okay. Do we have any motions relative to Article